much risk in you drowning in sweat, is there?
I'm working.
Yeah, holding up a tree.
Picking mushrooms. Not everybody can be Luke Remington.
Who?
Hero of the Western Plains. Dusk was descending on dusty hills when the stranger rode in from the west. Lonesome as the prairie and rugged as the mountain range beyond, he was every inch cowboy. With a slow spreading smile, guaranteed to melt a young girl's heart.
Name's Chilco. Chilco Evans.
I knew, Rufus Evans. Down in Hope.
Nope. Don't have kin down that way.
Of course, Rufus had to leave in kind of a hurry. Some, dispute over the ownership of a horse he was riding.
Look, I was just passing through and heard you might need an extra hand for the beef drive.
Oh, small herd. Got all the help we need.
I see. Well, maybe I could trade you a day's work for a good meal and a place to throw my bedroll.
Gotta separate that herd before we can move them.
Me and Ringo here done that once or twice.
Well, that lumber-footed hesitator? Well, let's see what you can do.
Richmond P. Hobson Jr., Panhandle Phillips, and Gloria McIntosh Hobson were real people. And for a short period of time, in the wilderness halfway between Vancouver and the Yukon, they worked to carve out the largest cattle ranch in the world. That part is true.
And 8 days on the beef drive. And that'll get us to Vanderhoof by the middle of the month. Yeah, you'll be in the big town with a year's pay in your jeans. Yeah, my birthday is on the 15th. Oh, there you go, something to celebrate. Yeah, I'll be old enough to enlist. So I'll need you to sign my release form. Okay? I don't know, Ed, is that what you really want to do? Oh, yeah, I mean, my brother's over there already. You can't lick Hitler all by himself, huh? Just when you're getting the hang of ranch work. Well, good luck. Come on.
He's Craig.
I've seen worse.
So have I. Seen Ed and Tommy.
Takes more than fancy riding. Top hand's gotta have a sixth sense about cows and eyes in the back of his head.
Figured it had something in its hoof from the way it was moving.
Would have gone lame on the drive.
I couldn't even tell she was limping.
It wasn't, but it flicked its ear each time the hoof touched down.
I'd say he's a step or two removed from total incompetence.
It's Ed's decision, and the Army needs men.
He's not a man. He's just a boy.
Well, I would have signed up at 17.
You'd have signed up at 7. The only officer in the field who needed permission to attack after bedtime.
I'm just saying that if I wasn't a rancher,
So that's what this is about? You're stuck on the bench, so Ed's got to carry the ball for you? I just don't want to see him go so soon.
I know, but we're getting hammered over there. If everybody waits, soon we'll be saluting Schickelgruber.
Well, Ed's not going to make the difference all by himself.
I know, but he wants to help. Can I honestly say no to him?
No?
Well, if I lived long enough, I could maybe mold him into something resembling a cowhand.
Careful, friend. You're strewing praise like rice at an Italian wedding.
We could use him on the beef drive. It's too bad we got all the hands we can afford.
Well, looks like we're gonna have one less hand than we figured. Ed's enlisting after the drive.
You mean we could trade Ed for Chilco, even up? That's so one-sided, there's probably a government regulation.
Gloria hates the thought of Ed enlisting.
Oh, I can see why. Propaganda coup for the Nazis. By Christmas, they'll be wearing little leather shorts in Piccadilly.
I think she's worried about Ed, actually.
Oh, I wouldn't. Odds are he'll get as far as Halifax and shoot his big toe off in a parade square.
Just an overflowing well of sympathy, aren't you?
Again, from my mother's side.
That's just Danny, Tommy.
Where are you from, Choco?
Gloria.
I know, the frontier code. My husband assumes that 60% of the strangers on the Blackwater are fugitives.
No, I just assume that a man's personal history is personal.
The remaining 40% are split between rootless vagabonds and strong, silent types with broken hearts.
Afraid I'm just a cowpoke, ma'am. Nobody very interesting.
You know, we might be interested in taking someone on. See,
Ed's going overseas.
Month, I'll be in uniform.
God willing, and the creek don't rise. So, if you're agreeable,
Might be at that.
well, fine.
You could have told me.
I told you all along I was going.
You've been yapping about it, but that's different than actually doing it.
Well, now you know. Reckon you're gonna miss me?
The question is whether the Krauts are going to miss you.
Well, this is it. It's got the best bunk. Maybe we can flip for it as soon as he's gone.
I'm not gone yet.
Make yourself at home.
I got an extra one.
Thanks.
It's kind of cold at night.
Grew up on a ranch out near Williams Lake.
Like it there?
Oh, I liked it just fine. Trouble is, my dad liked it too, so he wasn't leaving. Let's just say we never quite saw eye to eye.
Guess we have something in common. My dad got 50 pounds of horse feed and some hardware. The Hobsons got me.
I'd say the Hobsons got the better of that particular exchange. Here, you give it a try. No. You see, it's more like this. You gotta keep your wrist loose. And rotate it, okay?
Okay.
That's good. You're getting it. Now throw. Gotta watch those darn harness horses. They can be pretty fast on their feet. Deke you right out. It's all in the wrist. See?
Sure do.
Well, what did she say? She didn't say anything. It was the way she was looking at him. Like this.
Well, she probably swallowed a bug.
Then she hit him.
So what, Tommy? She hits you all the time.
No. See, she hit him like this.
Yeah, so?
Not like this. Ah. Not like this.
Ow!
See, if she hit him like this, or especially like this.
Hey, knock it off!
Would have been the same thing at all.
You're asking for it.
Oh, yeah? You and whose army?
Moron.
You look nut.
The air war continues in the skies over Britain as German aerial bombardments increase in intensity. The BBC reports that more than 1,200 Luftwaffe planes have been destroyed during August and September, with 185...
I think I'm gonna join the Air Force. Fighter pilot. Screaming down from the clouds with Jerry and my crosshairs.
Fighter pilots have the highest casualty rate in the service.
Oh, who told you that?
Muriel's last letter. Connor's a fighter pilot. She's worried sick.
Oh, of course I might be looking at the bomber corps instead. I haven't really decided yet.
Ed, are you sure you know what you're getting yourself into?
Yeah, I listen to the war reports every day.
Yeah, it's hardly the same as being right there, in the middle of it.
Well, I gotta do something, Mrs. Hobson. For my country. For everybody.
So far destroyed 30 enemy aircraft with casualties of 3 pilots.
I'll bring those calves down from the upper pastures. You ride out with Chilko. See for yourself.
I'm willing to take your word for it. As far as I can tell, he's the best cowboy on the Blackwater.
Now, friend, let's not go jump into extremes.
All right, second best on the Blackwater.
Well, that's a tad more plausible.
Oh, third best.
No, I'd stick with second best. Kid can rope. He can ride like nobody's business. He's got a sixth sense about cows. I'd say he is a complete cowboy.
Can he roll a smoke with one hand?
Oh, well, now you're talking about the truly great ones.
Here's a beautiful spread you got, Mr. Hobson.
Oh, thanks. Just need the manpower to run it. Tough to get good hands in wartime.
I tried to enlist. You see, I'm deaf in one ear. Got kicked by a horse. My granny Comstock always said that horse missed a prime opportunity to knock some sense into me.
That's one way to look at it.
She also says a Rolling Stone's gotta realize it ain't all gather you rosebuds.
Oh, you thinking of settling down?
Find a good situation, stick with it. Almost saw her headwind with my last job. Branched down their Kamloops.
What happened?
Oh, I fell for a gal.
Can't blame a fella for that.
You might not, but others sure would. Her pa, for instance.
Tommy,
Yeah?
forget it. You're a fella.
Yeah?
I was wondering, how can you tell what a fella's thinking?
Just ask him.
Don't be stupid. How can you tell what a fella's thinking about a girl?
Are we talking about somebody in particular?
No. No, of course not. Let's say he's just like you. Just for instance.
Well, sometimes a fella might like a girl a lot. But, he's afraid to let on because, well, he's afraid that she doesn't feel the same way.
How does she let him know it's okay?
Well, she could just smile at him.
Smile?
Yeah. You got a beautiful smile. Kid? I mean, Catherine. I'm not sure quite how to say this, so I'm just gonna say it.
And you think that's enough to let him know?
Let who know?
That's not really important.
No, you can tell me.
Tilko.
Joko.
I never said it. You never heard it. If you tell anyone, I'll pound you.
It's okay. I won't tell anyone.
Thanks. Your pal. Hi, Tilko.
Hey, Cowpoke.
I think he wants to stay.
Well, now that is the best news I've heard since Rupert Mowat got kidney stones.
Well, solve some problems on the beef drive.
Solves a whole lot more than that. We'll finally be able to do what we planned. Expand the ranch, grow the herd. Hey, maybe even set up that second base of operations up in the Vat Noonie.
Well, you figure he could handle it?
Me and him doing it together could. He is a natural. But even takes his hat off to women. Helps them with their chores.
Here, ma'am. Let me help you with that.
Oh, I'm fine, thanks.
Oh, no, ma'am. I insist.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, there you go. Chivalry is alive and well on the Blackwater.
Well, its health isn't necessarily robust, but it's breathing.
He hardly even looked at me.
Did you smile?
Yes.
Well, then you probably had something in your teeth.
Tommy, wait. Maybe you could talk to him.
Me?
Yeah. Just sort of mention it without saying anything, you know, and find out what he says.
Why would I do that?
Because you're my friend. Please?
In the last 2 months, they've shot down 1,200 Luftwaffe planes over Britain.
Well, I hear the fighters and the anti-aircraft guns are really making mincemeat out of those bombers.
They were bombers?
You didn't finish.
Oh, no, not hungry, thanks.
Who's for pie?
I wouldn't say no, ma'am.
Oh, I could probably choke down a mouthful.
Is there something wrong with it?
Oh, no, as hash goes, it was fine.
It was stew.
As stew, it was problematic.
Oh, pardon me. Maybe I should go shoot myself.
Well, at least it was better than the pie.
I made the pie.
Oh, that explains it.
I think the pie's just fine, ma'am.
Thank you, Tilko.
So I see you've made another conquest.
What are you talking about?
Well, you can add Chilko to your list of love-struck suitors.
That's ridiculous. We've scarcely said 3 words to each other.
Talking's got nothing to do with it. It's the way he looks at you.
And how does he do that?
Big old eyes all staring up.
That's how the cows look at me. Don't tell me you're jealous of them.
I'm not jealous. I'm just saying that...
You are. You're jealous of Chilko.
We need him on the beef drive. I'm gonna have to nip this in the bud.
Richie's just lonely. I'd probably remind him of his sister.
Trust me, Gloria, you don't remind anyone of their sister.
If Chilko needed nipping, I'd know about it. I pick up on these things way before you do.
Is that a fact?
Remember that woman on the train coming up here?
What woman? Oh, that poor girl with the wandering eye, please.
It wandered after you for 2 days, and you still wouldn't see it.
Oh, sure, and when I try to point out that Chilko...
Point to one specific, Rich. One shred of solid evidence.
He complimented your pie.
Oh, and a man would have to have ulterior motives to compliment my baking?
Hell yes, I still do that.
Good night, Rich. Morning, Chilko.
Morning, Mrs. Hobson.
Luke Remington shook out his loop again and set it to twirling. He could feel the girl's eyes on his back, but could scarcely guess how securely he had hog-tied her heart. Before we head off to bomb Europe.
And I may join the tank corps instead.
Why, because you find out about this plane's getting shot down?
Of course not. Driving a tank might be a better way to, you know...
Protect you behind?
Serve my country.
What about your sister?
What about her?
This could be serious. They could fall in love.
Kid's just a kid.
Morning, fellas.
Morning.
Ed's got something to say to you.
No, I don't.
Something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. It's just... Well, we were wondering. If I were to mention Kid as part of an offhand conversation, what would you say?
How do you mean?
I'm asking, do you like her?
Sure, she's fine, I guess.
No, I mean, do you like her like a...
Like a what?
Like a girl.
Kid's a cowboy, Tommy.
He said that?
Well, sort of.
Well, what else did he say?
You know.
No, I don't know.
Well, Tuco doesn't exactly say much, so you sort of have to piece it together.
He doesn't like me?
No. I mean, sure, he likes you. He likes you just fine.
Really?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't lie to me about this?
No, of course not.
Thanks, Tommy. I owe ya.
I'll give you a leg up, ma'am.
It's okay. I'm not some helpless old crock.
No, ma'am. Hey there, Tex. Got something in your teeth.
Did you lie to me?
No, I didn't. Choco said he liked you. It's
The truth!
Choco doesn't necessarily like you as a girl because he hasn't realized you are one.
What?
What I'm trying to say, kid, is he hasn't seen you the way I have.
With my shirt off.
No. Choco thinks of you just another cowboy. It's got nothing to do with your, which you told me never to mention again. I haven't, not even once.
And you better not.
I think you're beautiful. I thought that ever since I found out you were a girl, and, well, even before that, except how I wasn't supposed to say anything because that would have been unnatural.
You're jealous.
No. I mean, sure, maybe I am, but...
You're probably making up all these lies just to wreck everything.
I swear I would never...
Oh, I never should have trusted you.
Before we get started, I want Chilco to check him for pink eye.
Chilco.
Well, what is that supposed to mean? Chilco?
Nothing. It's his name.
Yeah, but you said it like it was something you stepped in. There's a problem, friend.
No, there isn't a problem.
Well, suit yourself.
I think he's got his calf set for my wife.
Gloria?
No, the other one.
Well, good.
Good.
Well, if it's Gloria's attractions that are keeping him here, then she's finally starting to make a practical contribution to this ranch.
I'm glad someone sees the bright side of this.
But I have to tell you, friend, you're miles off base.
Look at the way he acts when she's around.
This is a figment of a diseased imagination arising from your insane jealousy.
I have never been insanely jealous.
You have always been insanely jealous. It's just your jealousy has never had an object to attach itself to.
I'm sorry I mentioned it.
No, it's good you did. Now that your morbid affliction is out in the open, we can talk about it. What?
Mrs. Hobson, you know about woman stuff, right?
I'd like to think so.
Well, how do you go about it?
Go about what?
Being one.
A woman?
Well, let's just say, for instance, that you like someone and they didn't really notice you. Well, how would you go about, you know...
Chilco?
I never said that.
Remember Amos Pike? That ranch was going like gangbusters until Amos got it into his head that his foreman had eyes for Maud.
Let me know when you're finished.
Now, Lord knows why anyone would hanker after Maud Pike. I mean, fine, upstanding Christian woman, but she looked like Ichabod Crane, even with her teeth in. But that's what jealousy will do to a fella.
You are gonna look beautiful. We're gonna need to do something with your hair and makeup. Muriel left an emergency kit.
Feels like Halloween.
Well, who's a lucky fella?
Sorry?
Looks like you're set to go sparking after some beau.
No, I was just passing through and I just thought maybe you'd like to go out riding this meadow past the lake. I go there sometimes.
Sure, let's do that.
Really?
Yeah. Later in the year, maybe. You know, when we've got the time. Heck, we could bring Tommy along. Ed, too, if he's still here. I can see it now. 4 cowpokes riding out together.
Sure. That'd be grand.
Well then, Tex, it's a date.
The place went to rack and ruin, and there was Amos, unwashed, unshaven, drinking bad whiskey in his small. Unshaven, drinking bad whiskey in his smalls.
Stopped listening half an hour ago.
Maud left him too eventually. Took up with a blind piano player.
I think, Kit was looking for you.
Yes, ma'am. She found me. I almost didn't recognize her for a minute, though. With the face paint and wearing a dress and all.
Oh, really? How did she look?
Pretty as a picture, ma'am.
I'm glad to hear it.
Miss Hobson, could I ask you something? Let's just say, for example, well, you see, I've got this friend. And this friend has these feelings for a gal.
Yes?
You see, he's a little worried that it's all too complicated. Let's just say, well, it's just too complicated. But ma'am, if those feelings just plumb won't go away, what do you figure you ought to do?
You tell your friend he should come right out and tell her.
Really? You'd say that?
If he's afraid of what sort of answer he might get, tell him he might be surprised.
Why are you wearing a dress?
What dress?
Are you all right?
Of course I'm all right. What kind of stupid question is that?
Look, I was wondering, maybe there's some stuff we should talk about before I go off the fight.
What a joke. When Francis George got hurt, you just stood there like a fence post. A soldier who can't even stand the sight of blood. Makes about as much sense as a girl named Tex.
Something bothering Ed?
Why ask me?
Soup needs something.
It's soup. It doesn't have needs.
Oh. I'll go see what's eating the cook.
I thought you'd be wearing your dress to dinner.
Nope.
Choco said he saw you today. Said you look pretty as a picture.
You can't fool me, Mrs. Hobson. I saw you two together today.
Saw us together.
I mean, you must have thought that was pretty funny. Getting me all dressed up and you the whole time that he was sweet on you instead.
Evening, Mr. Hobson.
Choco?
Here, let me look after him for you. They've started dinner.
Well, you go on ahead then.
No, sir. I owe you a debt of gratitude for taking me on. I'm a man who pays what he owes.
You know, Choco, you've been doing a great job for us here.
Just do my best, Mr. Hobson. Man can't be asked for any more, and he should never give any less.
Well, that said, I think there's something you and I need to talk about.
Whatever's going on, it cannot continue. First the stew goes off, the soup turns peculiar.
I'll be fine.
Well, you may be, but what about the rest of us? The next inevitable step is ptomaine poisoning. Well, you better tell me about it. Open wide, and let's have it out.
I love Kid, and she loves Chilko, so what's a fella supposed to do?
Well, then.
This problem you ran into on your last job,
You mean that girl?
is this something that happens to you a lot?
A little more than it should, I guess. Granny Comstock says I'm just a fool for love. The head says no, but the heart, well, the heart says go.
You mind giving me specifics?
Turns out that girl was a little younger than I'd figured, so her folks didn't think it was all too appropriate.
Well, this situation we got shaping up here, I don't think is too appropriate either. You know what I mean, don't you?
Reckon I do.
I don't need to beat around the bush then.
No, sir.
Can't blame a man for having eyes in his head, but, well, I think you should look the other way.
My thinking exactly.
So we won't need to talk about this again then.
No, sir, we won't.
Good.
Mr. Hobson, I just want to let you know that I understand your concerns, and I appreciate your honesty, sir.
All right, then.
The more Squint moped and pined for that gal, the worse the food got. Till finally, the other hands told him he'd have to resolve it, one way or the other. So he put on a clean shirt, and he went to Adelaide, and he told her he was half dead in love with her.
Did it work?
Nope. She told Squint she was sorry, but she'd just gotten engaged to his brother.
So, what did he do?
Squint? Oh, he took up orders in the end. Became a priest.
Mr. Phillips, what exactly am I supposed to learn from this?
Don't be like Squint. There's no future in it. Thought that went real well. The boy just needed to have things put into perspective.
And I had a little talk with our man Chilko.
What'd you say?
Told him to stay the hell away from my wife.
Oh, Hobson.
No, it went very well, actually.
What did you say to Kit today?
Nothing, really. Mr. Hobson told me to stay away from her.
Why did he do that?
I guess he figured I was sweet on her.
Why would that bother him?
Miss Hobson, I've been thinking about what it was he said to me.
Which part of what I said?
You know, about feelings and how a fella should just come right out with them.
Did I say that?
Yes, ma'am, and you were dead right.
No, not necessarily.
Look, I know I'm just a poor cowpoke with nothing to recommend me except an honest heart.
We really don't need
But,
to talk
ma'am,
about
the plain fact is, well, Miss Hobson, I think you're about pretty enough to make a man plow right through a stump. Why, you're sunshine on the daisies, ma'am. There, I've said it, it's out. And I'm glad.
Chilko, I'm married.
Well, yes, ma'am, I know, but
Extremely married. To a man I'm head over heels in love with. I'm also very flattered, because I think you're sweet. Chilko, you're a great fella. Chilko, you're a great fella. And I'm sure there's a great girl out there waiting just to fall in love with you. But she's not in the barn right now. Do you hear?
Yes, I'm not that deaf. Plow through a stump?
Well, he's a ranch hand. He has a limited palate.
I thought I made myself clear.
As mud, apparently.
Well, I'm just surprised you didn't pick up on it earlier, given your expertise in these matters.
Fine, let's hear it. You told me so.
What, would I say that?
Well, the question is, what do we do now?
Well, I'm not sure we need to do anything. Just carry on, make the best of the situation.
With a ranch full of lovesick hands?
Well, Kid and Tommy will sort it out.
And Choco?
He'll get over it. It's just a passing infatuation.
Sure. Next month he'll be in love with someone else.
Or possibly not. And this could be the big heartbreak in Chilco's life. He may carry this one to his grave.
You told me he does this every week.
Yeah. You know, he reminds me of this kid I worked with on a ranch in Wyoming. Yeah, I fell in love with an older woman.
I think the word you're looking for is mature.
Very similar situation, actually. In fact, you remind me a lot of Drusilla.
Drusilla?
Well, without the hump. Or the warts.
Good night, Richmond.
Yep. Sunlight on the petunias.
Daisies.
Ouch! Ow.
I'll show you humps.
He's gone.
Gone? Who's gone?
Well, looks like Choco cleared out.
This isn't my fault. Of course it is. You confronted him with wild and groundless accusations which drove him clear off the ranch.
Fine. Have it your way.
I tried to tell you, but would you listen? No, you would not.
I just flew into a green-eyed rage.
I hope you're satisfied. Your insane jealousy just cost us the best hand we'll probably ever have.
I'm sorry.
What for?
Well, you know, stuff. Choco.
Not your fault.
I know that. Even so.
Guess I said some things that made you.
Yeah, well, you know, sticks and stones. You gonna be all right?
I can take care of myself.
Good.
Luke Remington turned to gaze back upon the ranch, where true happiness had so nearly been his. Adios, he said, and smiled a last sad smile for the girl he left behind. That's it.
I was worried it was gonna get all mushy.
Kid. Just because one fella doesn't feel a certain way about you doesn't mean that...
Tommy. You can stay here as long as you keep your mouth shut.
Hey, Chuck.
Or else I'll have to pound you, got it?
Got it.
Between the hours of 7 and 8 p.m., Monday to Friday.
All right, hold it right there. I'm placing you under arrest on suspicion of murder.
That's a pretty good excuse. What you should have been doing is watching Murder, She Wrote on Vision TV. Next. Don't miss any of the action.
It's Phil. I think I'll leave you to it.
Never a dull day in Gungallet.
I really do miss you.
McLeod's Daughters tonight at 9 Eastern on Vision TV.